one of my friends would say, you were like, you have to accept these things and stop pretending that you don't know. I think it's, in a way, it's true that when you talk about LGBT activism, people kind of like think of Bisi Alimi, but I don't think that is like that anymore. So we now have, Kenny Brandmills, we have Ranjide Macaulay, and so there is a collection of so many of us who are out there who are doing it. That's actually true, and I've learned it over a long period of time. And it was so much so about the fact that I'm conscious that there are people, not necessarily LGBT people, but people that really kind of like who I am, who are also looking out for how to respond to certain things. And many people will say, oh, I would do it the way Bisi is doing it. And yes, and that puts a pressure on me, because then there's an expectation of how I'm supposed to live and how I'm supposed to present myself. I think it depends. It depends on who is. I think to many people, I'm irritating, extremely irritating. To many people, a role model. Many people have called me their hero, and I like that. I'm like a shoe. I like that. I really like that. I call myself a shoe sometimes because TBT enemy, and it depends on which side that you want to choose. And I would not disagree with whichever side you choose about me. It's been a wonderful journey. I'm not going to lie to you. And when I say wonderful, it doesn't mean that it's always been great. I've been homeless. I've been poor. I've been rich. I've had big apartments. I've had everything. I've lost everything, and I've gained everything. I've slept on friends' couch. I've had to be nice to someone in a club so that I can have a bed to sleep on. My life has been like up and down, but I'm really grateful that I have those experiences because they've made me appreciate humanity. They've made me appreciate little things that has happened in my life. Yeah, so the Bisi Alimi Foundation was founded in 2015, and that was on my 40th birthday. And the whole idea was for me to say that there are so many organizations on the ground in Nigeria that are doing great and amazing work, whether from human rights angle or from HIV work angle. And I know that they are providing services for the people. And I just felt, how do I support the work that they are doing? And I know that my expertise is in data collection, is in storytelling, and how do we tell those stories? And on Thursday, we'll be, on the 16th, we'll be launching our report into the impact of homophobia in Nigeria, with a collection of data that we've gathered. And this touched on domestic violence, on harassment, on rejection, and that we are hoping that these organizations can use that to buttress what they are doing. And also we do media training. So in a nutshell, it's just my own way of giving back to Nigeria. I really love Nigeria so much. I love Nigeria so much, and I really want to give something back. Something that I love saying is I attempted my first suicide at the age of 17. And I don't want that to happen to another 17-year-old. I can resign and say, I have a good house in Nigeria. I have a fantastic relationship. I have resources at my disposal. Why do I? Yeah, exactly. And don't forget, at 17 years, that was 1992. There was no law. There was no level of homophobia like it is now. And I wanted to kill myself. You can now imagine what a 17-year-old now, with the increasing online bullying, with news stories that demonizes who they are, with so many things, so many information going on. And I just wonder, sometimes I find it difficult when these people come into my inbox, when they come either on Facebook or on Instagram and they pour out their hearts. Many times Nigerians, old and young, will come out and pour their hearts, and I find it many times hard to sleep at night. And that's why I felt like, I need to do something. It's very easy to be comfortable but I don't want to be comfortable. I want to do something, and that's why we founded Bisi Alimi Foundation. So on Thursday, we are launching a report which is titled "Not Dancing to Their Music," and that title actually came from one of the reply from the people that we sampled, where he said, "I'm facing difficulties in my life because I am not dancing to their music." It was an online survey of over 500 LGBT people in Nigeria. So these are people that self-identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or trans. But we only use 446 because we have to cut off some people that did not meet that requirement. And we collect data on mental health. And one of the things that 71% of the 446 that we sampled say they have severe mental health problems. Because we gave them, we have an indicator, so they have to answer some questions to say, do you feel this way? By the time we collated that, we realized 71% of them actually are showing signs of high level of depression. And then a lot of them reported, over 55% of them reported online harassment. 54 said they've been illegally arrested by the police. So there were a lot of things, and this report we're bringing in to launch it. We are hoping that the people that have the power will not just see figures and will not just see LGBT people. They will see fellow Nigerians as well and ask themselves that, is this really happening? Are we really doing this to people? And how do we change this? Okay, so this summer there is a film about me coming out. Okay. It's called The Boy from Mushin.
I saw it. I saw it on Facebook last year.
Yeah.
Where we had to raise.
Yes, what we're doing Kickstarter. So the film is coming out summer this year. So it's going to go through film festivals around the world. And my friends are putting a lot of pressure on me that for my 50th birthday, I should actually write it. And I think after they've been putting a lot of pressure on me, a title came to my head yesterday, and it was very funny. It was the 17-year-old boy that never died. And if I ever am going to write a book, I think I have to write it from the position. From that day, I had that rope around my neck, and I pushed the bucket. Standing on the bucket, I had the rope, and I was about to push the bucket when it flipped and it made noise, and people rushed into the bathroom to untie the rope from my neck. I think that's where I want to start from, because that was, for me, that was when everything started changing. I'm sure I will write a book. Yeah, so I going back to the speaking thing, I always felt this when I do masterclass about storytelling. And I say everybody has a story. And so many times we think that your story has to be dramatic to be impactful. No, we all have a journey. And it's about how you tell that journey. And the most important thing is allowing your vulnerable self to come out. One of the biggest things that we shield ourselves away from is people knowing that we can be vulnerable. And people don't connect with us when they don't know that we can be vulnerable. And I think one of the things that helped me, apart from the fact that people think I have such a big story, is that I can talk about it. And talking about those things are therapeutic for me. They help me to heal. I'm really damaged. I'm a seriously damaged goods. And my process of healing after many years of counseling is also being able to relieve by telling those stories, because every time I tell them, they help me. And I'm lucky that with that comes the possibility of a world stage. I get to travel around the world. I get to get paid for giving that talk. But it's not something that I set out to say, okay, now that I have the story, I want to make money or I want to travel the world. It just happens. And also, I also believe that my story is not superior to another person. So I listen to people, and I appreciate people, and I let people know that I appreciate them, not in a patronizing way, because we all have low self-esteem, and we all want to be appreciated. We all want to be told how amazing that we are, and I always try that. I've been told I'm a master networker. When I see somebody, I think there's something I can gain from that person. And that is the way that not that I see people as a commodity. So I feel that there's something I can learn from this person. And because of that, people find that endearing and they find that nice. And so those opportunities come. But I think what actually has been very helpful is I'm an actor. And I know when I'm on stage, I know when to tell a story and how to tell a story. And that has really kind of made people find, oh, he's such a very powerful storyteller. And but going back to one of the things that you said, boys like me don't do the things that I do now. I come from Mushin. I come from the ghetto, with guns and drugs and noise and everything. But I am who I am despite all that. Because I can see bigger than where I am. And that's what I always tell people that I mentor, that live today like it's your last. Because it could be, but live today like it's your last. That when you are dead, what would people, when you're not here anymore, what will people say about you? And if people don't have anything to say about you, then you've not lived. And you have to live in touching people's life. And I think that is very, very important. And when the opportunity comes, grab it. Because there's always somebody watching. So what happened? I will talk about married life because I've been baking now, So what happened? I think leading up to the wedding, one of the things that myself and Anthony were really worried about was what we were going to wear. And I said to myself, okay, if I'm going to get married, I'm going to upset Nigerians in a big way by getting married in native outfit. It was intentional. And the real reason was like, I just want to get people angry and say, oh, I dare him wear our outfit for his wedding. And so I showed him the picture and was like, oh, this is going to beat anything that I will wear. I was like, darling, we do weddings where I come from. And so it was also very nerve-wracking for me because I never thought I would ever get married. It wasn't something that crossed my mind. That, some people will plan at a certain age I will get married. It never crossed my mind that I would get married. So it was like, it happened and I thought, oh my God, this is happening. And I remembered on that day, when I walked in and I saw, we had guests from all the continents in the world that flew in for that wedding from over 20 countries. And I was like, wow, what is going on here? Because I came into this music by, this wedding song by, what's the name of these twins? These twins. Yeah, they're based in Nigeria. Paul and Peter.
Oh, Peter and Paul.
P-Square. Okay. There was this wedding song that they have. No one like you. Okay. And my friend and I, we've been practicing. I'm going to really dance in and dance and dance and dance. And on that day, they played the music and I was like shaking. I couldn't even move. I was like, I just don't want to fall down. I just don't want to fall down. And it was funny because when they asked my boyfriend, what is this special song for the wedding? He said, if you chop my money, he loved that song. Once that song comes up, he's like, chop my money. And it was beautiful. I had my mother-in-law there. I flew in from Australia, my husband's sisters. Nobody came from my family. But it was beautiful. I enjoyed it. And so wedding life has been really amazing. It's really amazing. We call them our sons now. We have 3 adopted sons, but they're not really. They're just these young boys who are just looking up to us. But we took them in as our son. But they gave us a lot of responsibility because we have to take care of them. 3 of them are in university. Yeah. But like they call us up, are you at home? We're hungry. Can you send money to us? Oh, we're coming home for weekend. I was like, oh my God, really? I just wanted a dog. But really, it's been nice. I don't know what I've said, the story of how Miss Posh Pussy came about. So I was so there's this literary festival in the UK called Africa Writes, and it happens in the summer. So I was invited to host the opening night, and so it was a night of love, sex and poetry. And they got in touch with me to say, oh, we wanted you to host this event. I said, oh my God, how am I going to be talking to Africans about sex? And I was panicking. I was really, really panicking. I was at home. I was talking to my husband. I was like, this thing is good money, but they want me to talk about sex. Africans and sex. It's like, oh, maybe you should just drag. He came up with that idea, and I was like, yeah, but you love RuPaul, just drag. And I was like, really? That is good. So I called a friend of mine. She's a makeup artist, and I said, I want to drag. I said, oh my God, I'll make you up. So that was the first time, was last year, that Miss Posh Pussy came out. The second time I've ever dragged. The first time I dragged was in university, and I was doing a play with Derele Edun. Then, so that was the second time I ever dragged. And and it was funny because she became more popular than me. And I was like, what is going on here? Everybody is following her. And I will post a picture. Miss Posh Pussy will have more likes on Instagram than I do. And one of my best friends was like, don't you think it's time we kill her? Because she's becoming more famous. But for me, it was very liberating. Okay. It was really liberating to be in a dress, to wear heels, but to make money of it. And now people don't. A lot of people that would normally invite me to an event will send an email and say, please, can we have Miss Posh Pussy? And I was like, what about me? So she's fabulous. Yeah. Okay, so if you're watching, I think this is my time to pitch. If you're watching and if you're a Nollywood producer or director, I'm available for acting. I really want to come back into acting. My one-man show was a play. It was a piece, not really a play. It was a piece written by a Nigerian who talked about his best friend dying or committing suicide because of his sexuality, and was published in Granta. And I remembered when they called me up and they said, we have this prose for you to read and we want to know what you think. And I remember I picked it up and I read it and I didn't even realize I was crying because the main character was me. It was me all through. That was me. I was like, who is this guy? Who wrote this play? And then 3 days later, my agent got in touch with me and said, they want you to act this play. I was like, I have not acted in 12 years. I don't even know what the stage act like. And she was like, but you always said you wanted to go back into acting. And I said, yes. So they wanted you to act it. And it's going to be a one-man show. And I was like, don't do this to me. And now it's going to be on the West End. It's going to be on West End in October in London. It's going to Edinburgh Fringe in August. And in April we're going to have an online presentation of it online for people to watch and see it. And it's so I came with my script. It's a very passionate, really, really passionate script of 10 characters that I have to play over myself. And I really love it. So I really want to. I'm really, really hoping that I could go back into acting. I really want to. I think it's just a message that I want to send to all Nigerians. And I know that there's a way that a lot of us view LGBT people. And I'm not taking that away from us. But I'm just hoping that people can see LGBT people beyond sex. Because, to be honest, a lot of LGBT people don't have sex. They are asexual. They don't really have sexual urge. And that these people are born that way. It is not something that you learn. It is not something that... Yeah, there are people who are adventurous, who learn that. But the majority of people are born that way. And that take time to understand them, to know them, to appreciate them before you judge them. And if you are an LGBT person, you're watching this, I want you to know that you're valued, that you're important, that your life means something. And don't think of yourself otherwise. And if you are that boy from the slum of any part of Nigeria and you're watching this on OLORISUPERGAL, I want you to know that you can be anything you want to be, and nobody can stop you. Go after your dream.